If you've been paying attention to the headlines recently, you might think that Bellingham Mayor Seth Fleetwood is the darling of local politics. But not so fast. Beneath the polished veneer of his public persona lies a litany of untold scandals, policy failures, and blunders that you won't believe. It's time to roll up our sleeves and dive into the gritty details of Seth Fleetwood's time in office, and let me tell you, it's not a pretty picture. Mr. Transparency isn't so transparent after all. One of the rallying cries of Fleetwood's campaign was his promise to bring transparency to the Bellingham mayor's office. Yet, after getting elected, what do we see? A pattern of obscurity, with public records mysteriously hard to access and key meetings happening behind closed doors. Where's the transparency he promised? Fleetwood's actions don't align with his words, raising questions about his sincerity. The taxpayer's burden, where's our money going? Let's talk about one of the hottest topics on everyone's mind, taxes. Bellingham residents have seen a surge in taxes and levies, yet many are puzzled about where all this money is actually going. Schools? Roads? Public services? Nope. Under Fleetwood's administration, it appears that the funds are funneling into ambiguous projects and bloated budgets. It's a financial quagmire that raises red flags about fiscal responsibility or lack thereof. A tale of two cities, the wealth gap widens. Affordable housing has become an oxymoron in Bellingham under Mayor Fleetwood's tenure. Despite soaring housing costs that are pushing average residents to the brink, the mayor has consistently sided with real estate developers over his constituents. The result is a widening wealth gap that threatens to turn Bellingham into a city of haves and have-nots. Is this the community Fleetwood claimed he would foster? Eco-friendly mayor? More like eco-failure. Ah, yes, the environment. Fleetwood has gone on record numerous times touting his commitment to environmental sustainability. But when we look at his actual record, it's less than impressive. Forget about the promises of green initiatives. The city's carbon footprint has barely changed, and key natural resources remain unprotected. It makes you wonder if his eco-friendly claims are nothing more than hollow campaign rhetoric. The big question, who is Seth Fleetwood really serving? With so many missteps and broken promises, you've got to wonder, who is Seth Fleetwood really working for? Is he serving the people who elected him, or is he simply another cog in a political machine that prioritizes special interests over constituents? Either way, it's high time we took a closer look at his administration and its impact on Bellingham's future. The silence on social issues, a leader or a bystander? In today's polarized climate, the importance of taking a stand on social issues can't be overstated. Yet, Fleetwood has been noticeably silent or non-committal on matters that deeply affect the community he's supposed to represent. From issues of racial inequality to LGBTQ+ rights, the lack of a strong, vocal stance is more than concerning. It's a glaring omission that calls his leadership into question. Crisis management or crisis evasion? Natural disasters, economic downturns, public health crises, you name it, Bellingham has faced its share of challenges. And let's be frank, Fleetwood's crisis management has been less than stellar. Whether it's the slow response to urgent situations or inadequate communication with the public, there's a palpable sense of disconnect that raises doubts about his ability to steer the ship through stormy waters. A fractured community, divisiveness over unity. A mayor's role should be to unify and represent all constituents, but under Fleetwood, Bellingham seems more fractured than ever. Community groups are increasingly pitted against each other, and there's a growing sense of us versus them that belies Fleetwood's campaign promises of a unified, harmonious Bellingham. Is division the legacy he intends to leave? The accountability quandary, who will hold Fleetwood responsible? With all these red flags, you'd think there would be a mechanism for accountability. Yet, Fleetwood seems to be operating with an unsettling level of impunity. Council reviews are few and far between, and public forums often feel like nothing more than scripted performances. Where are the checks and balances that should be holding our public servants to account? The bottom line, Bellingham deserves better. The evidence is piling up, and the verdict is clear. Bellingham deserves better than what Mayor Seth Fleetwood has offered. From his failure to deliver on promises to the absence of meaningful leadership on pressing issues, it's time to reconsider what kind of leadership we want for our city's future. So, what's the next step, Bellingham? Do we sit back and hope things miraculously get better? Or do we take action, advocate, protest, vote?